Steve. It's Monday, March 30th, 2026. For the last few years, Europe has been coasting on a wave of post-COVID stimulus money. Well, the party is over. Today, we are breaking down the fiscal cliff that is threatening to shatter the European Union.
Mark your calendars. In 2027, the music stops. The EU's massive recovery funds run dry. And the bill for all that joint borrowing, it finally comes due. The era of free money is officially dead, and the fallout is just beginning. So we're going to hit this from 4 angles. First, the ticking clock. Second, what I'm calling the bread or bullets choice. Third, the 10 billion euro interest trap. And finally, what this all means for the market.
All right, first up, the timeline. You need to understand that this 2027 deadline isn't some far-off problem. The backroom deals and the desperate decisions being made right now are setting the stage for a fiscal shockwave.
Look at that number, 10 billion euros. That's not the total debt. That's just the new annual interest payment on the EU's next generation borrowing, a number that's causing a very real, very quiet panic in the halls of Brussels. And to put that in perspective, this slide says it all. You have Brussels in a cold sweat over 10 billion euros in interest. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Washington is barely blinking at a national debt that's blown past $39 trillion. It shows you the completely different universes these two powers are operating in.
Okay, now let's get to the core of the conflict, because this isn't just about accounting. This is a fight for the soul of the European Union, about what it's even for, going forward. And this is what it boils down to, a monumental choice, a Goliath choice, really. Do you fund your farmers, or do you fund your military? Bread or bullets? It's a decision that's going to define the continent for the next generation.
You know, for 60 years, the absolute bedrock of the EU was the Common Agricultural Policy, paying farmers to keep Europe fed. The new plan? Gut those subsidies to build a defense fortress. If you're a farmer in France or Poland right now, you're not just worried about losing a check. You're worried about losing everything.
And the scale of this pivot is just breathtaking. They're taking 52 different spending programs and crushing them down into just 16. The message couldn't be clearer. Social programs are out, military survival is in.
Let's dig into the financial trap they've set for themselves. That next-gen debt was sold to the public as a lifeline, an easy solution. The reality? It's turned out to be an anchor.
They sold everyone a bill of goods. They swore this debt was manageable. They were wrong. With interest rates staying higher for longer, the cost to just service that debt has doubled. 10 billion euros a year, just to stand still.
And that leads to the one question that is paralyzing the entire budget process. The old money is already spent. The new bills are piling up. So, where is the money going to come from? Without a new source of cash, the entire project is at risk of default.
Brussels thinks it has the solution, a little something they call own resources. Don't let the name fool you. It's a fancy term for new EU-wide taxes. Taxes that flow straight to the central budget, cutting the national governments out of the loop completely.
They're talking about taxes on carbon, levies on plastics, anything they can think of. But the member states are drawing a hard line in the sand. They are refusing to surrender their sovereign power to tax. And this is creating a standoff. If no new money comes in, Brussels will be forced to take a knife to core programs, just to keep the bond markets from panicking.
So, let's bring this all back home. Why should a political dogfight in Brussels that's still a few years away, why should that matter to us, in the market right now?
As we're sitting here today watching the S&P trade at 6740, there is a dangerous assumption baked into these valuations. The market, particularly in Europe, is priced for perfection. It's priced for a soft landing. It is absolutely not priced for the political civil war that is brewing over this 2027 budget. If this thing turns ugly, the euro will get hammered, and that contagion will spread fast.
Because at the end of the day, it comes down to a very simple truth. Europe is learning a hard lesson. You cannot build a fortress on a credit card forever. The bills always come due.
This is much more than politics. This is the ultimate stress test for the entire European project. And there's one simple indicator you need to watch to see how this whole thing plays out.
Here it is. This is what you watch. The spread between German and Italian government bonds. It is the market's EKG for European financial stress. As this budget battle heats up, that spread is your canary in the coal mine. It will tell you everything you need to know. The red ink is coming. I'll see you at the open.